the podcast for you if you want to get better at leading yourself and leading others. This is Christine Schickinger, your host, looking into how you can achieve peak performance while keeping a peaceful mind. Have you ever had the case that you could not switch off after work, that you have taken work with you in the evening, over the weekend, maybe even over vacation? This is something that a lot of my clients are dealing with. They're having so much work, they feel overwhelmed and cannot switch off after work. So they're never done. Work is always, it's almost like it's always haunting them. I guess this is a problem of our times, that most of my clients have too much to do. They have a schedule, they have a to-do list, they have an agenda that is much longer than what they could possibly get done in time allocated. So they need to make a decision, and of course they are not finished in the evening. And this is of course an issue, because your brain, when you think you're not done, your brain will keep reminding you, and that's exactly what happens. Another reason why I think this issue of not being able to switch off after work is so prevalent is due to the fact that many people are working from home these days. If you have your own room, if you have an office at home, as it says, a home office, you are very fortunate. A lot of my clients, they have a desk. Some of them don't even have a desk. They use one of their tables, maybe a kitchen table, to do work. And what this means is that it's really hard for them to make a distinction between now I'm at work at my kitchen table versus now I'm having dinner at my kitchen table. The other reason I think is the availability. Nowadays, it's expected and it's considered normal for everyone to be available 24/7. So when I think back when I started working, which is a long time ago, we didn't have mobile phones at that time. And when I was finished on Friday evening, I got home and there was no way to reach me because, my manager had my private phone number, but no one else. I didn't have a laptop. I worked from a desktop in the office. So when I was home, I was really detached from work. Today, this is no longer the case. As a leader, you have the additional responsibility. You are responsible for others that might also feel overwhelmed, that, as we have seen in the previous episodes, might even already be affected mentally, showing signs of mental illness. So you're not sure whether you should talk to them or not. This is another reason why a lot of my clients have a hard time switching off when they are at home in the evening, when they are with their families, even when they're going on vacation. Of course, this is not helpful for their family lives either, nor for their personal well-being. Now, what can be a solution there? I believe the most important thing is to somehow create a clear separation between work and your private life. And yes, you might tell me that you love work, and it's the very same for me. I love what I'm doing. And still, I have several hours a day where I spend time with my horse. And when I'm with my horse, I'm just not thinking about work. This is my time. This is our time. And this is very important to me. One thing that is important, I strongly believe, is to have a clear separation between work and your private life that you spend with your friends and family, and maybe even your pets and horses, like I do. I spend time with my horse on a regular basis every day, of course, and this is when I don't think about work at all. Even though I love my work, I love what I'm doing, and yes, I love thinking about it, but still, I want to have some downtime. I want to have some time where I am dedicating all my thoughts, all my being to something else. Now the question is, how can you get there? How can you separate your work from your private life? especially when you're working from home. Some of my clients have managed to very actively put away their laptops, for example. So instead of just closing it down and leaving it at the table, they now are putting it in a cupboard and closing down the door so that they no longer see it. And they do the exact same with their mobile phones. If you are lucky and have an office, a home office, then it's important to close the door, walk out very, very consciously. Walk out that door and close it behind you, just like you would have walked out the office. You could also change clothes, because that will also tell your subconscious that now is a different situation. You're no longer at work. You could also make a gesture, and it sounds silly, it sounds pretty simplistic, but it does work. So think of a gesture that for you signifies it's done. So for me, it's literally, I take my left hand and I push things aside. And that to me means it's done, it's okay, it's over, and I'm now ready to focus on something else. If you already have done all of this and thoughts about work still come up, then an additional remedy could be to write up these things. Because that's a very interesting thing. Our brain, if we try to not think about something, it will deliver this thought again and again and again. Because of course our brain knows that this is important to us and wants to remember us. So what we can do is we can write these things down, literally. And I noticed that if I do that with pen and paper, it's so much more effective than when I'm typing on a laptop or on my iPad. So I literally have a notebook, and whenever I have a thought coming up that I want to put aside, I write it down. This is extremely helpful and extremely effective and also efficient, because it doesn't take a lot of time, and it assures that my brain then, it's almost like my brain saying, okay, she noticed and she wrote it down, so I no longer have to think about it. So think about a ritual. Think about your ritual that you can establish so that your brain and your body understand that you are now off work. And I would love to hear what type of ritual you have come up with. When you're still thinking about work when going to bed or being in bed already, when thoughts about work are impacting your sleep quality, then there are additional things that you can do. And I will probably focus a specific episode on that topic. So just to give you a few ideas of what you could do, you could put an imaginary trash bin next to the door of your bedroom. And whenever you walk into your bedroom, you could literally pull out the thoughts from your brain. I do that by using a gesture, by the way. So I put my fingers on my forefront, and it's almost like I'm pulling out my thoughts and I push them and put them into the trash bin. Or you put an imaginary cupboard there and you put the thoughts in there and you shut the door. Or you put an imaginative rocking chair next to your bedroom door, and before you walk in there, you put all your worries, all your thoughts in this rocking chair, and you tell them good night and to stay there. And whenever they try to enter the bedroom, you just tell them to get out and sit down in that rocking chair and wait for you to get up in the morning and pick them up again. Because I think there is a difference between trying to get rid of those thoughts and just parking them, just pausing them, letting them understand and letting your brain understand that you will pick them up again once you have time for that. That's why I think this idea of having a trash bin or a cupboard or a rocking chair in front of your bedroom is a pretty nice way of doing that. Or again, you put a notebook and a pen close to your bed, and whenever a thought comes up, just write it down, because again, that will take it out of your brain. Now, another way of having a break or having a clear transition from work to out of work could be one of the little exercises that we have been looking into. You could do the visual exercise, the auditive one, you could focus on your breath, or another one that I want to share with you right now, which is focusing on your sense of touch. Now, if you want to join me, again, you can stand or sit or even lie down. You can keep your eyes open or close them as you like. And then you put 2 fingertips together and you rub them with such a tension that you can feel the ridges on both fingertips. Fully focus on that sensation of those 2 fingertips rubbing together. And then place the fingertips of one hand to the fingertips of the other hand and slowly start to slide down across your fingers and the palm of your hand and up again, and closely observe how that feels. The touch of the fingertips of one hand on the other hand. You might want to slow down even more to be able to really feel every single part of where your fingertips touch your hand. And after a deep breath or two, can come back, enjoy the moment, and I want to say thank you for today, and may you always lead well, yourself and others. This was Lead Well. Now, what is the one thing that you're taking away from this episode? Please share in the comments below, and do share the podcast with your friends and family, but only if you like it.